2020. Today, we decided that it was really important to put together an agent panel, a panel of agents who have essentially done business throughout the quarantine. And so what we did was we pulled their numbers from, or pulled everyone's numbers actually, from March 13th on. And March 13th was the day that the president stated that we are in a state of emergency. And so from that date till today, these agents have actually put quite a few transactions into escrow and are working their sphere and whatnot. And so I know that there's some of you that are feeling a little discouraged. And so for those reasons, we thought it was important to put together a panel of agents who are actually doing business and seeing what it is that they're doing day to day. So let me introduce Mr. Alex Rivlin from our Green Valley office. Hello, Alex. Jessica Hallenbeck from our, are you in Southwest now, Jessica?
I'm still in the Summerlin office.
All right, fine. Summerlin office it is. And then Mr. Matthew Snyder from our Green Valley office as well. Hey guys, thanks so much for agreeing to do this today. We absolutely appreciate you and are thankful that we've got agents like you who are willing to share their knowledge with the rest of our company. I also have Mr. Todd Barton on the Zoom call as well. And Todd is going to help me moderate this panel. So I'm going to just dive in. You guys did get a couple of questions from me ahead of time. I wanted to make sure I sent you something. Be aware that Todd could throw you a couple of curveballs in the mix of this. So we'll try to get through them as quickly as possible. Again, we'll start with Alex, then Jessica, then Matt, and then we'll just take it backwards for the next question. Sound good?
Wait, Wanda, let me just kind of set the stage here if I could.
Yeah.
The question is, and we hear this a lot, is how much business is happening? Is real estate, what's happening with real estate? Like how some people are running scared, some people are excited, some people are continuing to work and having success. And so Vandana had all the numbers pulled of, like she said before, from March 13th through actually today. And I think it's important to know that in our company, $36 million worth of volume put into escrow in that time period, 36 million, which is just a little bit short of $1 million in gross commission income. So just know that the market is moving along. People are buying and selling. And so today, I think what we kind of hope to find out is how you guys are making all that happen. So go ahead, ask your first question. I just want to know that there's a lot of production out there and that they could be a part of it.
Yep. So what's happening now is that a lot of us are working from home, right? Because we all have the stay home for Nevada. We have been qualified or defined as an essential service, which means we can go out and about and do legitimate real estate business. However, there's some agents that feel that that's not something that they want to participate in, or they're not motivated enough. Working from home just isn't what they're used to, nor do they like doing it. So from your perspective, we'll start with Alex. How do you keep yourself motivated during this time?
I sleep until 1 or 2. No, I'm joking.
Great way to start, Alex.
That's an innate quality within, self-drivers, right? So keeping motivated is not a difficult thing. And frankly, there's a lot of people out there that need help. I'm not actually going out, right? I'm not doing much in the way of showings. I've done one showing since this all came down. I'm trying to keep my clients safe. I'm trying to keep myself safe, and I'm trying to be a good steward of the community and get us over this faster. Regardless of what you believe side of it, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. So I am trying to do that. And there's a lot of people in a lot of groups in essential states that are saying we shouldn't be out there. So regardless of exactly what your beliefs are, there are still people that need help. So the one person that I went and showed, everything else has been virtual, but the one person that I went and showed is because they found an excessive, I've never seen pictures like this. This is going to be a $100,000 repair, an excessive amount of black mold in their home, and have been tested, and they do have mold toxicity. And they're completely concerned, not only because of that mold toxicity, but because of COVID-19 and their now respiratory issues from mold, that they need to get out of there as soon as possible. So I've never done a rental in my life, and I went and looked at a rental for them, just because this person really, really needs the help. right? So at that point, I'm being a good steward of the community and doing what I need to do. Everything else has honestly been done virtually. We've been doing just everything, and I'm really super proud of a lot of what we have done because we've really been helping people out of some situations. You know, this isn't the normal scenario where people just want to sell because it's the right time to sell. They're typically selling because they have a need or a reason. So that's the one thing that I would say to everybody is that anybody that you're dealing with right now, first, come from a conversation of compassion, empathy, and understanding what's going on. And don't go in for the kill. Don't go in for the sale. You know, don't go into the bar and ask the girl to get married before you've even gotten her name. But you like that, I'm not gonna. And the other thing is understand that the people that do want to have that conversation, they're not the riffraff. They are the serious people that are looking to either sell or buy. So what you're doing is you're getting to cut through a lot of fluff right now that previously you couldn't, because the people that aren't serious, instead of kicking tires and window shopping and messing with your time, they're saying, hey, we're hunkered down. We're coronavirus scared. And, you know, we're on the sidelines. So you're really getting to separate the yeses from the nos very easily. There's not a lot of gray area right now. So focus on the compassion on those nos. So that way you have them when they're coming back. But when it comes to the actual sales side of things and how we're continuing with sales, it's because we're really able to quickly identify where the need is and execute on that need.
Awesome. Jessica, you've put in quite a few escrows in the last few weeks. So how do you keep yourself motivated during this time?
I think Alex said it really well that, you know, when you're intrinsically motivated, nothing's going to hold you back. You're going to keep going. And I find that to be true for myself. And so honestly, motivation for me is just remembering to stay rooted in your gratitude right now, because it is difficult. There's a lot going on. And we have to just remember it could be worse, especially when you look at yourself in your life. And so count your blessings. I think that's the first thing to do, and stay focused. This isn't going to last forever. So just keep that in mind, and stay grounded. You know, try to find things that are going to make you happy in this time. It is stressful. I know that for myself. I'm home with my whole family, which is just the four of us, two little ones. And that's a lot to have two kids at home. So I have that dynamic. But I'm finding time to make sure that I'm staying in touch with people, checking in, caring. And to me, that's motivating, checking on the people that I care about.
Awesome. Matt, same question.
I'll just kind of echo what they said. I feel like the people that are still doing business now and that are motivated now were the same people that were doing business and motivated before this all started. There's not really anything that's changed my motivation as far as, you know, wanting to get out and put deals in escrow now versus, 30 or 60 days ago. It's the same motivation it always was. So I'm kind of just continuing to do what I've always done, other than obviously some safety issues now with the virus. But as far as motivation, I don't see the point. What would I just sit at home and think there's nobody that wants to buy or sell right now? I mean, there obviously is. So I'm just kind of doing what I've always done.
I kind of like what Alex said there, and it's easier at this point to find the motivated. It's not as shielded as it has been in the past. And so the motivated buyer, the motivated sellers, easier to identify them. And then the ones that say no, that doesn't mean no, it just means not right now. So
yeah.
That's good.
And I think with what you were talking about too, Matt, with being, just being a little bit safer when you're out showing property is important, and echoing everything, when clients are looking at property, they've really narrowed it down to the one or two that they want to look at. They're not goofing off anymore. They're not like, let's look at everything. They're keeping in touch with the fact that we want to stay safe. We want to keep our family safe. We want to keep the community safe. Like you said, Alex, being a good steward to the community. So how has this quarantine changed the way that you do your day-to-day business? I mean, there has to be changes to it, right? I mean, the way that you might show houses, the way that you list property or whatever, but how has it changed your day-to-day? Are you waking up same time every morning? Has there, are you taking a shower, getting ready, eating your breakfast, having coffee, doing your motivational things that you normally do on a day? I mean, what's happening? Let's talk about that. Matt, you're up first.
So I guess my schedule has changed. Obviously, I'm used to kind of coming into the office and being a bit more structured than I have been during all of this. Like I mentioned before, my business is relatively the same, but obviously, I mean, it's probably not as busy as if this virus wasn't going on. So I'd be lying if I said like I'm not getting up super early and taking a shower and getting all dressed up to come into the office. Like it's just not happening. I'm just doing as much business as I can from home remotely. But as far as like how it's changed the day-to-day business, obviously like the common sense things of like, I'm not, when I am with clients, like we're trying to keep a safe distance and, not like shaking hands and just kind of putting that space between us. I'm not going overboard and like wearing masks everywhere and gloves and putting myself in a bubble basically. But to me, it's just more of like common sense type of safety procedures with this, kind of what they're telling us to keep our distance from everybody. But that's really all that's kind of changed in my business so far.
Okay. Jessica?
My schedule's definitely changed. I'm having to time block a little bit more in different ways than I did before, mainly because we have the kids at home. I know a lot of people are doing that right now. Many of us do have kids. And so my husband and I are just juggling our schedule, taking turns, helping each other out, which is really great. I'm spending more time working on my business. So I'm really focused on making sure that I'm calling as many people as I can. I try to call, a certain number each day. Writing some note cards, just doing things to let people know that they're being thought of, and just caring. So I kind of think that in this event, I think we're going to see a lot of pain and pleasure points for people. And I think that's what motivates people to move. So when Alex said that, people who are very motivated are going to want to do a transaction even right now, when those people appear, you have to have all the tools to be able to help them. And so virtually showing homes, doing listing appointments virtually, just going an extra step above when you can. So in general, yes, my quarantine schedule is definitely different. But I'm also going to add this. I'm spending more time with my family. I think that everybody should be doing that right now. This is an opportunity to do that, and we don't always have every day is such a hustle and bustle usually, and so I think that that's part of the finding the bright side in the moment, and I'm just going to keep doing that right now.
Great point. Alex?
Sure. So kind of adding on to what Jessica said, the gratitude and the silver linings are definitely something you want to look at. So schedule has definitely changed. I am waking up at the same time in the morning, taking a shower, getting ready in the same way that I always have. Difference being is, for those of you that know me or see me, I am in the office by 8 a.m. every single morning and spend the majority of my day there, other than when I go and get my kids from school and then I leave early. So I'm not going in the office at all. I've run to the office like twice just because there were things in the office that I needed. Like, for instance, you could actually see me on camera right now. Normally it's kind of dark and the light's behind me, but I got these two awesome bright lights in front of me right now because I've been doing so many of these Zoom calls, and I realized it was more of a silhouette of me, and which might look better to most people, but I decided to get in full light now. So the schedule's changed. There's certain struggles. I have always been a person that worked in the office because I have tracks in my mind. I work out better and more aggressively when I go to the gym. I work and am productive when I'm in an office, and I literally switch into that mode. When I'm at home, I goof off a lot. I graze. I'm at the fridge like every 10 or 12 minutes. I really should just take a picture because I just stare at it, right? But I do that constantly, and I realize how much of my time it eats up, no pun intended. So my schedule has changed. But in regards to business, what's really changed is the phone calls are lengthier. There's more explanations. There's more editorializing and opinions. What do you think's happening to the market? Things along those lines. And then there's more consolation in regards to the people that, that are in the need to do something, because they are afraid to go out and tour houses. If you've got a listing that has people in it, they don't want you in it, right? Whether you're the buyer's agent and bringing buyers over. So a lot of people are looking for those types of things. I've got a client right now with a very, very severe medical condition, and she's very compromised. And they signed last night. And I told them, I said, 1, have your own pens. 2, bring chairs and a bistro table out in your driveway. Don't even let the mobile notary into your home. Mm-hmm. I said 3, make sure they're wearing a glass mask and gloves. And 4, as soon as you're done, sanitize. She's very compromised. So I wanted to make sure that I gave, at least some sort of sanitary advice, and then said, call your doctor for any further advice. But there are a lot of needs. And I mean, this isn't meant to be a joke, but people, nurture your database like crazy right now. And what I say by it's not meant to be a joke, we will have life events at the end of this. We will have life events in 9 and 10 months from now. Okay, we will have babies from this. We will have divorces from this. There are going to be needs from your clients, from your friends, your family, your circle, your sphere. So if you're not doing the right things now to nurture them and to help them through this, then they will find their agent by the closest person, whether that's Zillow or what have you, and you'll miss out on those opportunities.
Great point. So that just goes into what I was going to ask you next is, what are you doing to set yourself up for success after we get out of this? Because this is not a forever thing. You're right. There's going to be divorces. There's going to be babies. There's going to be life events that happen to people. So what are you doing to set yourself up for success?
Well, I'm doing what the majority of people won't do. Right? That's what most of the successful and higher producers are doing, is doing what the others aren't. Instead of looking at this and playing victim and saying, why is this happening? And, oh my gosh, I might not have money to pay my bills next month and everything else. I'm taking a very proactive approach, and I'm making sure to reach out and call everyone. And that call, by the way, is not the typical call. It's not the, hey, you were on my website a few months ago, and I'm just calling to see, what you're doing, what your plans are with purchasing. It has nothing to do with real estate. It's, hey, Vandana, this is Alex with Signature Real Estate. Not calling you about real estate at all. Just wanted to reach out and see if there's anything I could help with. I've been in town for many, many years, and I'm a community connector. There's a lot of resources that I have, and there's a lot that I know about, like elderly shopping hours or food banks that are delivering food to the elderly. Is there anything that you or your family or your close ones need that I could be of assistance with right now?
Great
and
point.
by making those calls and putting it out there to them and being, again, that good steward to your community, it's going to pay off tenfold. Honestly, the rapport that you're able to build on a phone call with a regular lead under normal circumstances is not great, right? That's why we have to make hundreds of calls, thousands of calls often to get, 1 or 2 good actual deals in the pipeline, right? If you, not thousands of leads, but possibly 1,000 calls to, 50 or 80 or 100 leads. Now is a time that you actually have an opportunity to build rapport in a completely different way, because you're not coming at them as a salesperson. You're not coming at them as a buy a house, buy a house, buy a house. You don't have that commission breath, right? You have the opportunity to be a community connector, help people, or at least convey some level of sincerity, but it has to be sincere. If it's not sincere, if you're doing it just in a contrived fashion to come back later and hope that they're your friend, just don't bother. But if you're doing it with true care and true compassion, then it's going to pay off for you tenfold.
Nice. I agree with that. Jessica?
That's well said. Thanks, Alex.
Ditto.
Yeah, exactly. I really believe that, and I think that that's been kind of my business model for a long time, is really go in and talk to my people, the people that I care about, my database, and just be there for them. Not always talk about real estate, and this is the time to not talk about real estate. If they want to talk about real estate, they're going to ask you questions, and then you can talk about real estate. You know, I've gotten a lot of questions. How do you feel about the market? And I know we're going to get to that question in a minute, but you know, you just have to kind of, to me, listen to their needs. I'm going to hit the words pain and pleasure, because there are life events, like Alex said, that are going to happen, and you need to be listening for it. And if you know that somebody says, you know, oh, well, you know, we realize that the house is too small, or I'll hear, take note of that, but carry on the conversation of caring, and keep doing those things. And when it comes time for somebody to need a realtor, they're going to remember you because you cared enough about them. And that's really all it ever boils down to. The people who are top of mind will be that person's realtor. And you just need to remember to be that person right now.
Matt?
I'll kind of piggyback off what they said. I turned off my marketing to like generate new leads. It was kind of a decision I made. I don't really want to be reaching out to people that I don't have any rapport with, you know, talking about real estate, kind of like what Alex mentioned. It's not really the appropriate time, in my opinion, to be calling like new leads, you know, and asking them if they want to buy or sell a house. So I've just kind of been nurturing my existing database and utilizing video through email, just reaching out to past clients and stuff, just, you know, not anything real estate related, but also just like asking them how they're doing and, you know, just checking in basically with genuine care.
You had mentioned video through email. What are you using?
Bomb.
BombBomb. Okay. And that's free, right? Up to a certain amount of emails?
I think there is a free one. I don't have the free one, but I pay for like a yearly subscription.
Got it.
Okay. Is there a free BombBomb? I didn't know that.
There is, but
Maybe
I don't know. Alex may know. I don't know what the actual capabilities of the free one is, but
I don't know. I make a range of bomb.
Yeah, there's like 3 different levels, and I think level 2 is probably pretty good just for like a regular agent, and I think it's relatively affordable.
So there's another one called Vidyard, I think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, BombBomb's nice. It plays the kind of couple second GIF that you can, you know, do various things. That's a whole nother conversation, but and then you can also see like when they've opened it and stuff like that. So it just kind of gives you.
Yeah,
Nice.
BombBomb lets you have that little attention getter there at the very beginning if you want to record that. So I've had a lot of agents reach out to me and basically ask this question, like, what should we be doing right now? What's your recommendation on how we should be lead genning? And I've basically given the same advice. I don't know that this is a great time to be lead genning as we know it, as looking for a new lead that we've never met that may need to buy or sell, because that seems a little insensitive. So totally agree with all of you on that. The one thing I've been telling agents is that one thing they might focus on during this time, and the next 30 days is a good time to focus on it, is look at your sphere of influence, figure out exactly who that is, and then figure out how to double that. Like, look at the people that are in your sphere of influence and try to figure out how to get in touch with maybe somebody they know that you have talked to before or been mentioned to, with those people to your sphere by reaching out and having that uncomfortable conversation of, hey, I'm here to help. You know, how's it going? Is there something that you need? So just kind of maybe if you are really wanting to do some lead gen, I think it's looking at your sphere and then trying to figure out how to make that sphere bigger by touching people who might have a connection to people that you already know. So just my 2 cents. So tell us a little bit about, and I think Matt will start with you, and Alex, you touched on this, but Matt, tell us a little bit about when you do show late. Go ahead.
I am going to ask, actually, let's get to Jessica, because Jessica's got to jump off and get on a Zoom call.
Actually, I got that postponed.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
I can stay a little longer.
All right, back to my method. We'll go with Matt first. So tell us, like, when you do go show a home in the last 30 days, when you show a home, what does that look like? Like, take us step by step on the things that you do. I know you guys have talked about how you're trying to get some advice on keeping people safe. And so what does that look like when you go show a home, if you've physically been out to show? And then if not, tell us about your virtual showings, and then talk about any listing appointments that you've had, what those look like.
Yeah, so like I kind of mentioned earlier, it's just been kind of common sense. Well, after I touch any surface, like the box or the handle or something, just not touching my face and washing my hands and basic common sense items like that. Just trying to keep distance from my clients as as best we can. As far as I haven't done too many like buyer showings. I have put several listings up, just 2 in the last week, and I have one going up tomorrow. But I'm going to utilize a program called Aster Room, ASTER Room, and I think it was only like $90, but it's basically like a panoramic thing that attaches to your phone and a tripod, and you can do like actual 3D tours of all the properties. So I'm going to do that on any listings I have going up from here on out, just so if buyers are kind of freaked out about looking at them, they'll at least have that option.
So that's going to be that'll be like a virtual, unbranded virtual tour that you'll add to MLS.
Yeah, it's like a, not like a Matterport thing, but it's a 3D tour where like, you basically walk through the house by like clicking an arrow and it'll take you to the next room, and you can, pivot all the way around and look like that. As far as listing appointments, I'm still going like in person, with just kind of those common sense safety measures, because I just, I wouldn't feel comfortable listing a house like without seeing it in person. I mean, there's just certain things that you have to see in person, like to come up with an accurate listing price, in my opinion. So I'm still kind of going on those listing appointments. Any sellers that, are asking me if it's a good time to sell or if they should hold off, I don't think anybody can say for sure, but what I've been telling them is, in my opinion, I don't see anything that would cause home prices to go up. If anything, home prices most likely will go down. So probably if you're going to be looking to sell now, it's probably as good a time as any. I don't know if I would necessarily wait, just because if we do have some kind of major recession after this and home prices take a hit, they'll probably regret not selling now. And, I put a listing up 2 days ago, and we're going to go into contract today, and it's a $550,000 house. So people are obviously still buying houses.
Yeah, I think
we had 2 offers on that in 48 hours, so, I guess some agents are thinking nobody is out buying right now, and I'm happy to keep listing houses and selling them in the meantime. So
cool.
That's about it. I mean, I haven't done anything crazy as far as changing my showings and my listing appointments. It's just kind of common sense stuff.
Cool, thanks. Jessica?
So I went out twice in the quarantine to show properties. Went with gloves and kept a very safe distance. Wiped off the lockbox with the Lysol wipe and the door handle, and let the buyer go in and do his thing by himself for a little while, looking around. And I looked for myself, but kept a distance. We ended up getting into contract on that property, matter of fact. And so the good thing was just, keeping a safe distance. Everything else, I would say in general, we kind of went with the same protocol, which is I show their favorite house first. I've always done that, because why would you not do that? So usually we can narrow it down to the top 3 choices, so we don't have to go out and show so many homes, because we still have supply and demand. There's still not as many properties out there for sale. So when they see a good one, they should feel compelled to act on it. Listing appointments, I'm doing them virtually. I kind of already had that set up in advance. Like everything is digital these days, so just using Zoom, for instance, you can do pretty much your entire presentation online. I have, that's what I postponed, was a Zoom listing appointment. I did go see the property in person, but it was vacant, so I didn't have to see anyone. So if people were there, I just would have kept a distance.
Okay, so far both of you were willing to go into the public when you need to, but you're trying not to if you don't have to. I think that's pretty smart. How about you, Alex?
Pretty similar. I've only gone out and done one showing. I honestly thought I'd never be the guy to wear the mask. I'm not trying to downplay it. I don't really have a fear of catching it myself. If I did catch it, I feel like I'm healthy enough to fight through it. And I know some healthy people are dying now, but I don't know. I just feel like I'd kick the shit out of this thing. But, sorry. You see, you started with that, Vandana. So
I know. Sorry, I set you up for it.
But in all seriousness, I really do. I fought off bugs before. It doesn't scare me in that way. That said, again, good steward of the community. So on that one, I went out, drove in my car, but as soon as I parked, before I even opened the door, put that N95 mask on, because luckily I had one from a 3-pack before when I've done work around my house with cutting wood or something, and put that on, put on some rubber medical gloves, and went and opened the lockbox with that, and had hand sanitizer in my car. And as soon as I very carefully took that rubber glove off, and it was now inside out, so the exterior surface wasn't exposed, I immediately sanitized. I know they're saying don't touch your face. I touch my face a lot. I don't know if it's because I have itches or if I like touching my face. I'm like, ooh, what a nice face. I don't know, but I touch my face a lot, so I don't know how I'm going to ever stop that. But yeah, so as for the listings though, I have taken 2 listings. Both of them have been virtual. I hear what Matt's saying loud and clear, and yes, I need to see things about the house, but what I've done is I've had the people, for those of you that know me, and get my green Texas, because I have this amazing Note 10 that is the best one that I've ever had. But I do keep this kind of junky iPhone. Oh, sorry, I know Signature's all about Apple. This iPhone. So I have been able to get onto FaceTime, and I have them walk me around the house. And I ask the questions of the things that I would want to see and what I need to see, and from that and looking at comps and pictures online, I'm usually able to give a pretty darn good determination.
Cool. What are you guys doing about pictures? Who's taking your pictures? Are you sending a professional photographer out to do them? Yeah, everybody.
Always do that. Yeah.
Yes, everybody said yes. I don't know if you're going to be able to see everyone at the same time or not, or if it's one at a time, but everybody said yes.
Everyone's shaking their head yes. So it sounds like your impression of the market is business as usual with a small little tweak here and there to accommodate the situation, but you're not slowing down any.
No, and I'll say the small tweak is actually, I think it's quite a large tweak, right? And I think that even after this is done, that this is going to set some new precedent on some of the ways that we are able to do business. I think there's going to be people that'll take advantage of this. To a degree, I'd love to never go on a listing appointment again. If I don't really have to, if I can do it virtually, then, and be as effective, then that's great. By the way, one of the lines that I learned from a colleague of mine that lists about 150 homes a year. She said she did a listing appointment and 2 other agents had been out and she had done it virtually. And the person said, I was really uneasy about them coming out, so I'm really glad that you were able to handle this virtually, because I really didn't want to have people at my house. And she said, I'm able to handle this virtually, and if they're not able to handle the appointment virtually, how do you think they're going to do selling your home virtually in this market? And I was like, ooh, that's a good one. If they can't even get on camera, that's like the old commission argument, right? If they're not able to fight for their own commission, how are they going to negotiate on your house? Are they going to fall at the knees when it's not their money? Because they're falling at the knees when it is their money. So it's the same kind of thing. Nice little spin.
Great point.
Jessica?
that was interesting to hear. I like that point. What remind me the question, because I feel like he got off a little bit, and I was interested in listening to Alex and kind of forgot the original question.
Come on, Alex.
Alex does tangents.
Come on. So it's just, what is your impression of the market right now? Do you have any different than it was before, or what's your impression?
Well, okay, so obviously things are different. I think that we definitely have a recession coming, so we have to kind of think about what does that mean exactly. But I like to look at the numbers. We still have relatively low inventory, and so supply and demand is still there. That's one of the reasons we're still seeing transactions as much as we are. There's always going to be a market for real estate. So it just kind of depends. What do I think the long-term projections are? It depends. It really depends on how long this lasts. If they let us like not be in quarantine here and at the end of the month, and it's so hard to know what's really going to happen, because I don't think we know yet. Or how many people are going to not get their job back. That's a big question. So I don't have a direct answer, to be honest with you. I'm just paying attention.
So I'm going to ask you really quickly. You said you're paying attention. What are you paying attention to? What are the things that you're looking at sort of daily or weekly or whatnot that are helping you or dictating, hey, this is how the market's today, or this is how the market's this week?
Initially, when this all happened, I started looking at I've always kind of looked at how many houses are on the market, but I started looking at back on market and was paying attention to how many were coming out of escrow and then getting back in escrow and that kind of thing. So I thought that was very interesting to watch. I can tell that we're having an increase in inventory already, which is expected in the spring regardless. So it just kind of depends. But those are the things I'm looking at the most. I would love to get a little bit more data. Maybe we can have a class on that, because I think that, to me, that would be something worth noting. However, just keep an eye out on things. Watch your neighborhoods, your target areas. Pay attention to how many homes are on the market, and just keep in mind what's going on.
Matt, I know we got sidetracked because I asked a question in the middle of a question.
Yeah, so is it just my impression of the market?
Yeah, your impression of the market, what you think about it now, maybe what you feel like is going to happen. What are you looking at?
I don't think anybody can really say what's going to happen. I mean, nobody knows. I think it just really depends, how long the kind of quarantine lasts, because then we can see, what companies are going to have to maybe, close up for good, and which ones can recover. And so I think it's just a guess at this point. So I'm kind of doing the opposite of Jessica, and I'm not really concerning myself with like trying to analyze, because for me personally, like if I think about it too much or something, it would just impact me negatively. So I'm just kind of like almost acting like this is business as usual for me, focusing on the upcoming deals that are going to be listing soon, my current clients, and just kind of like riding this out, I guess, and then we'll see. Because the way I look at it, like why worry myself about panicking that the sky's going to fall and I'm going to never do a deal again because we're going to hit such a deep depression, and like that does me absolutely no good. So I'd rather just continue on and just keep going, basically. And then things are going to happen how they're going to happen. I mean, we have no control over it. So the only thing we can do is, when it happens, we'll just adjust our business to whatever happens and keep going. I mean, that's really all you can do, I think.
Yeah, one of the things that I've known about Jessica, we actually took CRS together, and she likes data. She loves seeing what's happening, what the numbers are. So she definitely, I mean, like, you're right, Matt. I don't pay a lot of attention to that. I like to know what it is, but I don't know, again, if I dive deep enough to really say, okay, well, this is what's going to happen, or this is, but I know people who do. And Jessica is just one of those people.
Well, I think there's it would just be, to me, like if I got to the point where, like, I woke up today and looked and not as many houses were in escrow today as yesterday, and I started to, like, oh my God, we're on a decline. And then, like, to me, it's just, let's just go,
Yeah.
focus on the escrows I have, the listings I'm putting up, like, and just, we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll know in a month or two, I think, a better idea of what's going to happen. But right now, it's just a guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I follow the
summertime is
numbers.
coming in our, oh, sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
Okay. I said I follow the numbers tremendously as well. And, when Todd had posed the question, you talked about the tweaks, and I went into the tweaks of how we're doing business versus how it'll change. But my perspective of the market in general, we're right now at about half of the sales. We're at about 50% on the buys. We're at almost the identical amount of listings. So our inventory is going up, but only because of the fact that our sales are reduced right now. So there's less buying going on. I agree with both Matt and Jessica in regards to, we don't know what we don't know. If this lasted 6 months versus 2 months, it's going to have a different impact. That said, in the last 5 recessions, in 3 of them, housing went up. In 1 of them, housing went down by 1.8%. In the other one, that was our crash, right? Housing does not follow the economic elements of a recession because it's a tangible asset, not a paper asset like stocks. So the whole monetary policy behind it is completely different. So one thing to keep in mind. The other, a lot of the economists are saying that Vegas is going to be hit really hard. By the way, economist reports are only there to make astrology look credible. But really, when it comes down to it, the economists are saying that Vegas will be hit harder because of its hospitality industry. Well, that's very true, though a lot of the people, other than those that don't get their jobs back, that are out of this a lot longer than even the virus is around, people that have lost their businesses or what have you, a lot of the people that are going to be impacted are those ones that were, there was a study done and they said that there was a certain percentage of the population that was $400 away from being dead broke, right? Those were the people that didn't qualify beforehand. If they did qualify, they didn't have the financial means to actually execute on a home purchase. So maybe they qualified by credit score and by income, but they still didn't have the down payment or the closing costs. So if they couldn't get a DPA or closing cost assistance, they still weren't buying. And then there's going to be a few that are going to be, that could have possibly made it and went through their savings and can't make it again. I think that's going to affect the potential buyers if we're out of this by either end of this month or where a lot of more people think is May 31st, June 1st, kind of getting back to some level of normalcy. That,
did you say June 1st?
That's going to affect, that's going to affect about 10% to 15% of our buyers. But then if we go back to the normal dynamics of where we were, we didn't have enough homes on the market for 80 or 85 or 90% of the buyers that we had to begin with. So I don't personally see a big impact to pricing. I see a lot of stabilization, maybe a few desperate people right now taking $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 less than they would have. But I think we're going to stay stable. And as long as we come out of this and knowing that China has kind of gone back to business as normal, if we could emulate that in any way whatsoever and get to any sort of vaccine or treatment for this, in a shorter time than normal, then we'll be in good shape.
Awesome. So there's a lot of agents out there that believe that the sky is falling right now. Like the sky is falling, right? What is one piece of advice, and I want to end on this, what is one piece of advice that you can give agents who feel like the sky is falling? Jessica, I'm going to start with you.
Well, this isn't going to last forever. That's the best part of all of this. This is just temporary. We're kind of like on pause for the moment, and things are going to resume. Now there will be a new normal, but we just have to pivot. We have to shift. We have to think about what that looks like, and stay positive. I mean, it's not that bad. To stay home a little more. For some of us, this is great, and some others it's not. I enjoy the virtual aspect of real estate. I think that showing this side is adding new tools to the box. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, if you look at it that way.
Matt?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in mindset, period. So I just don't think it does any good to have that attitude that, the sky is falling. There's always going to be people buying and selling houses. So if anything, like, the market's always good for somebody. So it's just about adjusting adjusting your business to who the market's good for, and then kind of going that route. So I don't see the point in getting all nervous and worked up about it, because I mean, if it happens, it happens. You're going to have to go push through it and adjust your business. Or, if you're already like mentally defeated, you might as well just give it up now and go look for another job. I mean, I just
Get out of my
like
business, right?
I feel like that's the reason most agents don't succeed in anyway. Like, it is their mindset and, most likely their motivation and work ethic. So if you're lacking like your motivation during this because you think people aren't buying and selling, you're obviously missing opportunities, because a lot of us are still closing deals. If you have a pessimistic attitude that, the market's just going to tank and the real estate industry is going to be crushed, and I better go find another job, you've pretty much already defeated yourself. Like, it's about keeping the confidence up, and okay, if housing prices dip, in my mind, like, okay, now it's a great time to buy. So I'll just try to find as many possible people that want to buy houses and take advantage of the low prices. So, like, you just gotta keep a positive mindset. Is the only thing I can say.
Alex, you got to ask permission before you take pictures of us.
That's me.
I'm not taking
Jessica.
My God, I was taking
That's a good
pictures.
opportunity.
You got to be able to smile.
I'll do it later.
You're good. Alex, what's your one piece
All
of
right,
advice
so-
to give agents who feel like the sky is falling?
So in 2007, I started my Facebook account, and it asked me what my favorite quote was, and this still stands till today. And it's Winston Churchill: "A pessimist finds difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist finds opportunity in every difficulty." Look, the fact of the matter is, people are going to pack it in, right? Some of you watching may decide to do that, like Matt said, and believe the sky is falling. Hopefully you've got the conviction and you're watching something like this and you're listening to Brandon and Vandana and Todd and the other people around and other mentors around you, showing that, hey, things are going to be all right. But it's up to you. Do you want to find difficulty, or do you want to find opportunity? Because there will be opportunity out of this. There was opportunity through the last crash, right? We went from, I don't even remember what the numbers were, but I think in Vegas, we went from like 14,000 real estate agents down to 8,000 or 9,000 real estate agents. But the ones that came through it, some really fantastic agents blew their business up to a whole nother level. This is another one of those opportunities. And I don't think it's going to be as big of an opportunity as that, but it's just a matter of, is there an opportunity for you to, if you were thinking about building a team, bring on some agents that maybe need a little bit of guidance. If you were working on your own, is there a way for you to utilize your time better with some of this virtual stuff? Some people didn't even know what the word Zoom was. Now everybody's freaking got a subscription to it. So, what are you going to take advantage of? Because there will be opportunities out of this, like every other difficult situation. The strong will survive.
I love that quote. That's actually an amazing quote, and it's perfect for this time. So thank you for sharing that. One of the things that I think about anytime somebody says pivot, because that's what we've been doing, right? Is that Friends episode, pivot, every single time. Have you guys all watched that one?
So fall on the stairs. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't fall on the stairs. But it essentially is a time to pivot your business just a little bit. It doesn't mean you have to change it drastically. It doesn't mean that that everything needs to be different. It just means that you need to do a slight pivot to make sure that you're around when all of this is over. And great point, you guys. Jessica, especially, enjoy this time with your family. Don't worry about if you aren't doing business right now. It's okay. Take advantage of this time, because every other day when we're not in quarantine, we're always so busy with life that we don't get a chance to really be around family. I've spent a lot of time with my boys. Yes, we watch a ton of Shark Tank. I end up spending a ton of money. One thing that I've realized is that I love my house, but I need a new couch. I've spent a lot of time sitting on my couch, Zoom calls or whatnot, right? But those are all things like I've been staying in touch with clients and just people that I've done business with in the past, similar to what you're doing, Alex and Jessica and Matt. Like, how can I help you? Is there something that I can do to assist? We do have an agent in our office. I'm going to do a shout out to Cheetah right now. She's made about 300 plus face masks for people. She starts first thing in the morning until 5 p.m. She just crushes it on face masks, and has been donating them to hospitals and senior facilities and whatnot. She's find what makes you happy. I actually, believe it or not, knitted a scarf, finished it yesterday. So yeah, I know, Todd, you're looking at me funny, but find something. Alex, I heard you say in the happy hour, you're learning Spanish, right? And learning how to play the guitar. Find a hobby, do something, stay motivated. So a lot of these, you guys, great advice, absolutely wonderful advice. I think that if any agent listens to this and gets even a nugget of, well, maybe I should start doing some, meditation at night before I go to bed. Maybe that'll give me a little peace to wake up in the morning to start doing my affirmations or whatever. Don't take this as a time to take off your business, right? Work on it, talk to your clients. So I'm just reiterating some of the things that you guys have stated in here. And I truly appreciate you taking the time. Jessica, I know you've got a listing appointment, a Zoom virtual listing appointment that you have to get to. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks again for being a part of this. We appreciate you, and we're happy that you're here at Signature.